Imagine the coin-op classic Dragon's Lair, remade with all the interactivity, about half the animation frames, and a third of the excitement.
Imagine Lord of the Rings adapted into an animated computer game by Deke Studios with a script rewrite by Ed Wood.
Yes, it's Kingdom, The Far Reaches, from Virtual Image Productions and Interplay, the game that plays like bad Saturday morning television.
The story really begins a long time before the game starts with the Argent Kings, the group of powerful magicians who ruled with justice over the 5 kingdoms.
They were gonna die sooner or later, so they decided to pass their learning onto a new group called the Order of Great Wizards. The leader of the pack would be called the Archmage. It would gain huge amounts of power and a nifty little magic-focusing amulet called the Hand, because it had 5 segments.
Wouldn't you know it, there was a great power struggle between 2 brothers, one naughty and one nice, over this amulet. The good guy brother split the hand into its 5 component parts, one for each kingdom.
The bad guy brother managed to take over by brute force, but he knew that if the amulet were ever reunited, it would either give him ultimate control or defeat him completely.
This is, of course, where the player comes in. You are Lathan, the last descendant of the Argent Kings, and you have been instructed in the magic arts by Daylon, one of the last great wizards.
Lately, things have come to a head in the kingdoms, with the rightful ruler having been kidnapped by one of the evil brothers' pawns, Lord Drakesblood. Her name is Princess Grace Delight. Stop giggling. It is your task to try to reunite the 3 relics that make up the Amulet of Power and thereby save Princess Grace.
Wait a minute, did you say the 3 relics?
That's right. There's the Black Mace, the Hunting Horn, and the Orb of Mobus. 3 relics.
Not 5? I mean, all that stuff in the plot setup about the 5 kingdoms and the amulet being called the Hand and being split into 5 parts? And there's only 3 relics?
Since when do you have to be a math whiz to write an epic saga? But yes, there are only 3 relics in the game.
Is there any explanation? Do they give any account of those other 2 relics?
No, they don't, and you might as well let it slide. The writers of the instruction manual did.
Okay, I can ignore those 2 missing relics, but it's a lot harder to overlook the cheap and chintzy feel of this so-called epic.
It's funny. So much of the publicity for this game revolves around its being fully animated, and the quality of the animation is truly sad and it's pathetic. Looks worse than the stuff produced by Hanna-Barbera in the late 70s.
Yeah, it looks more like Filmation, the company that produced the Star Trek animated series. Ugh.
I strongly suspect that this game had its origins as a cheaply made fantasy television series, and that Virtual Image got the rights to it and chopped it into one of the appropriate segments to tell the story.
That would certainly account for the fact that you almost never actually see a character's face when he talks. As events progress in the game, clips are shamelessly reused with new dialogue laid on top.
I'd almost be more impressed if Kingdom was adapted from a TV series. If the animation was actually produced exclusively for the game, then there's just no excuse for the shoddy level of quality.
Actually, the cheap animation might have been a lot more acceptable if the voice acting hadn't been just as incompetent.
Not to mention funny, and it wasn't supposed to be. How are you supposed to take wood elves seriously when they sound like this?
Apprentice, the plague magician knows of your quest, and he is waiting in the forest for you.
Beldar, we must consume mass quantities.
And then there's the water nymphs. They sound like damp smurfs.
Now are bound at crystal, dark enchantment holds it best. So you must use your magic to release the spell of rest.
Oh yeah. Remember the mysterious voice in the temple?
For the blood sword of the Argent Kings, look in the black key.
For the blood sword of the Argent Kings, press 1. If you would like a name directory of ancient relics, press 411.
Okay. Enough cheap laughs at the production values. It's time for the big question. Is there a game under all of this mess?
Just barely. As you travel around the kingdoms, you get to watch the cheap animation. When it stops, you either do something or move on to another location and another clip. And there's not much you can do.
Very, very rarely there's something on the video that you can pick up. But you have to play Hunt the Pixel every time, just in case. If there's a spell or item you can use in any given situation, it appears here on the log of Kirkwood, also known as the bottom of the screen.
There's no combining of items or anything tricky like that. Just use the right thing at the right time and try not to get killed.
If you do get killed, you have 3 lives, just like in a lot of arcade games. Sometimes when you die, you rematerialize in your mentor's castle. and he seems completely unconcerned and unaware that you're only there because you just bought the farm. Funny stuff.
In its own weird way, the game is actually pretty challenging. It's not an easy thing to find one of the relics, much less all three. There are 2 skill levels, Apprentice and Wizard. The interface is quite easy to use. It's all point and click, shifting back and forth between a map screen and the action.
The box gives lip service to the game being different every time you play. You can't prove it by me. The puzzle stays the same. The danger stays the same. They even stay in the same place. If there were any changing elements, I didn't even find one of them.
But even if there are different courses to take, Kingdom the Far Reaches is sufficiently annoying that most folks would not be interested in seeking them out. The recommended age is 12 and up, but most 12-year-olds I know have a little better taste than that. Not much, but a little.
If you want an animated adventure game, play one of the King's Quest or something. You don't need to waste your time with this thing. It's downright unpleasant.
By the way, you did catch the thing on the box where it says this was only the first game of a series, didn't you?